Welcome to the CBJ Sports Roundup with me, Marcus, and Joel. How are you doing, Joel?
I'm really good, thank you. Looking forward to review some sports with you, mate. So, yeah.
Good. We'll start with last night. Nottingham Forest beat Blackpool 3-2 in the FA Cup, taking it to extra time with a Chris Wood winner late on, and Ryan Yates' assist. But the other goals were an Abamedeli's debut goal and Danilo equaliser going to taking the lead. Next up, they will be playing Bristol City in the FA Cup on the 26th. What do you think about that, Joel? Do you think they should prioritise the league or carry on with the FA Cup and see where they go?
So that's a great question, and my answer's probably changed with the financial fair play burden Forest have now got. I feel like they've sort of slowly sleepwalked to that one, but anyway, that's a different story. I'd say they should have prioritised the FA Cup before the FFP issues, because I think in the mini relegation table in the Premier League, I think Forest do. I mean, even with AFCON players, I think they do have one of the strongest relegation battled teams. But now with the looming FFP, I think you field a slightly weakened side and hope for the best. For the fact you're playing a championship side, they have just knocked out a very poor West Ham side across those two legs. I think it's prioritising the Premier League now with the looming FFP.
It was a similar story for Forest last night, where there was a lot of mistakes at the back, but a lot of attacking prowess. Conceding 2 goals to Blackpool, despite one of them being a very, very good goal, is very, worrying. But the fact that they scored 3 goals and were without Morgan Gibbs-White, who is now injured, and they are going to be lacking that creativity now. And the question is where they're going to get that from. Even though Elanga is their top assister with 6 assists this season, they need a kind of central creativity. And Ryan Yates did come up with 2 assists last night. Can he step into the role of the creativity missing from Morgan Gibbs-White?
Well, no, I don't think so. But that's just the player he is. The profile him as a player, he's a fantastic. Shields the defence well. He can progress play very well. He does have he's got an attacking mind in the sense of getting you from behind your halfway line up to the 18-yard box. But Forest have got an issue now because Morgan Gibbs-White, yes, he's output might not be as good as you see him on the pitch because his performances are technically they're fantastic. So they do need to dip into the market again hard with the financial fair play, and I'm not sure how they do it. Do you know what the ruling is, Marcus, on how they do it?
They cannot lose any money. They have to be net zero, so they can only get by selling someone. And they do have some players on the transfer market, on the transfer list at the moment. Joe Worrell, club captain, Scott McKenna, possibly linked to both of them linked to the Championship, but also the Scottish League. And Mangala is obviously linked away with a low move, but a potential buy in the summer. So it does look like their players will leave, but it depends. I think it could be loans that could come in because they sent Santos back to Chelsea. I think the positions and Origi is going to be sent back as well. His loan's going to be terminated, so they will be looking for a goalkeeper and a striker, I think. Sorry, and a defender. So who do you think? Do you think they're going to sign anyone? Do you think they're going to sell? Will they stay the same? It has to be completely balanced.
It's tough. It is a really tough question because they need. As Chris Wood's on decent form, but I don't think he keeps you up with consistent performances. Obviously, he had a fantastic performance against his former club Newcastle, where he scored 2 fantastic goals. But that was almost like once in a blue moon sort of performance. Iwone, fantastic, and you've seen fantastic performances from him. Again, liability injury wise. Obviously, he's not even gone to AFCON because he's recovery rehab in Nottingham. So they do need to target. With all this one in, one out malarkey. I think they're gonna have to use what they've got, which not freezing out, but not utilising a player like Mangala. And if they do sell him for a loan and then a buy option, that money doesn't come until summer. Doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. So if they're going to do business, it's going to have to be shrewd, clever loans. I don't think they can spend hard cash on them. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, and I'm sure we'll keep you up to date next week.
I think, from what I know, Espiritu Santo doesn't like big squads. I think he's going to trim the squad anyway. And, you know, the owners are very ambitious, so I can't see them being very sensible on this one.
Agreed.
So there was great performances from Dominguez, who's back in the side, and they're still having goalkeeper problems. That, I imagine, will be a running problem until the end of the season, because I can't see them signing anyone, because they just signed both of these goalkeepers. And they will be playing Brentford away on the 20th at 5:30 prime-time slot. I'm and Tony return. There will be a preview for that game up online for you to read. Joel, how do you see this game going down West London?
So previous games have seen 2 draws, 1 win for Forest, and then 1 win for Brentford as well. So I'm thinking, it's all about Ivan Toney, but I think Forest needs to just need to expose the fact it's Toney's first 90 minutes, if he plays the full game, for 8 months. And then also, Brentford have been a shadow of their former selves. Obviously, Thomas Frank, I'm sure, in time will turn it back around, because they've been unfortunate with injuries as well, and the way the club have stayed, just a well-run club by selling players, buying players, and they've not been as lucky this year with signings. If you want to up the top of the head prediction, I reckon another draw.
Yeah, I think they have to really capitalise on Brentford's poor form.
Agreed.
It's they are going to be down in that relegation fight, and it is a 6-pointer really. Brentford have just signed Reguilon as well. To kind of replace Rico Henry, which is a really important signing. And Forest are very dominant on the wings. That is against Elanga, who has arguably been the best player for them at the moment, or at least the most output. I think for Forest, this transfer window could be really important and could define the rest of their season. And that could even be just doing nothing. But doing nothing could still be really important by not losing anyone. Next up, we're going to go into some other teams. Notts County are playing Stockport. Mansfield are playing Sutton United. This is some big games in League Two at the moment. So, sorry. The Notts County are playing Stockport County, who are top of the league. And with a possible loss for Notts County could take them out of the playoff places for the first time this season, as it has been a few weeks since Luke Williams has left, and they're still in the manager search. But Mansfield are third at the moment, and they could have a big say on the title race, playing the 23rd placed Sutton United. With a game in hand on Stockport, they could go within 1 point of Stockport, and that could put them in contention for the league coming into February. And Notts County is looking a little bit grim at the moment, and they haven't found a manager yet. But the rumour mill is saying that it could be Neil Warnock, and we do have a man who knows a lot about Neil Warnock here. So, Joel, what do you think about this?
I think it's a hard one, because Notts County are a club going in the right direction in general. And do you bring a legend but a tactically fantastic manager in the lower leagues of English football in to steady the ship? I mean, they've conceded close to 50 goals this season. Or do you go for a younger manager like Luke Williams was, attacking football and risk the fact of conceding goals? But I think for me, it's a no-brainer. Warnock, 6-month deal, see if he can steady the ship and get them back on good form like they were at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think there's the number one odds on is the Wheelstone boss. I'm not sure, I can't remember what his name is, but probably a young manager, and I can see that aligning with the views of Notts County. Moving on, there will be a preview for Nottingham Panthers versus Belfast Giants up online at some point today or tomorrow. And next up will be AFCON Watch. We will be keeping up with AFCON with all the Nottingham Forest players there at the moment. And they do have the most or second most players at the AFCON. Obviously, Irony is in Nottingham. He didn't travel and he will be recovering from his injury here. There is a game today, which is Nigeria at 5. That is two teams with Forest players, Ola Aina in Nigeria, Sangare, Ore, and Willy Bolly at New Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Both of them they're in the same group, but they could knock each other out, which could have an influence on, Nottingham's Forest, Premier League games when they come back, because they could come back early by knocking each other out. It depends how many there will be. How far do you see Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and also Senegal is Kayate and Niakate?
I think out of the three you've named, I think Senegal will go the furthest.
They've been the furthest recently.
Yeah,
I think they won the last one.
I think you're correct. I'm sure Nuno's hoping that all three of them go out in the groups, because some of the key core players of that squad are in the AFCON. It's tough for Forest at the moment. It's fantastic for the AFCON to have so many talented Premier League players there, of course. But no, I think Senegal for me will go furthest, and we'll keep up with the score later on.
Ivory Coast on paper do look like they would go quite far. Nigeria always do quite well. Yeah. It's an interesting one because they do have the most players in AFCON. And I imagine they knew that when they signed those players. So those are the consequences of signing those players. But they are probably glad that Oni is staying and recovering from injury, because he's now in individual training, and the news is that in a week or two he will be in team training for a possible return in February.
That's huge.
And that is AFCON Watch, and this has been the CBJ News Roundup with Marcus and Joel. We will see you later on another day.
See ya.
Bye.